Welcome to the Your Leadership Legacy podcast. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I'm so excited to bring you this next podcast dedicated to you high performers out there who want to reinvent yourself, reinvent your business, maybe your career, all of it. This podcast is all about being dedicated to transformation and being the best possible leader of yourself and others that you can be in order to create a legacy that lives on. Welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause. I am the founder and CEO of True You Teams. And here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I'm really super excited because today we have one of my dear friends, Marti Ouellette, with us. And I'm really excited to just dig in. Marti, hello and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Tina, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, you are like one of my favorite humans. So I want you to tell everybody all about who you are and maybe even a little bit about your background. We'd love to hear about it.
Oh, who am I? Oh, Marti Ouellette. I am a empowerment coach. So I help create order out of chaos. I help high performance companies and individuals who are overwhelmed, have a lot on their plate, have a lot, and they can't seem to get it organized. And we bring order to that chaos. I've been doing this for so many years. So how I started, so it's a little story here. My father was a big control freak, and the house was shadow boxed. Do you know what shadow boxing is?
I don't.
Okay,
I know what shadow work is, but I don't know what shadow box.
Oh, so think of your silverware drawer. In your silverware drawer, do you just have like all your silverware in that drawer?
In divisions, like it's in a divided thing.
That's a shadow box.
Okay.
So everything in our house was shadow box, where the scissors were, where the drawer, the cabinets, like imagine your kitchen cabinet, like green beans, because in those days, all we had was canned vegetables, right? So you had green beans, peas. He had little stickers, like, so you knew where it was.
So he was very organized.
Extremely, like, all I ever heard as a kid was, where is it? Everything has its place and everything should be in its place. So as a child, like my imagination went always to organizing. And so as an adult, when people are telling me, oh, I have this to do and this to do and this to do, and I don't know where to start, my brain automatically goes to, all right, let's organize this.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe not be physically, but still mentally. So I help businesses take, they have a lot of things on their plate. Where do we start? Where do we go? And organize it in a meaningful way.
I love that. I'm going to read your bio. I didn't do that. So now with that as a backdrop, here's Marti's bio. It'll make a lot more sense. So Marti is an empowerment coach and success strategist. As a recovering workaholic, I can relate to that as well. Former supply chain professional and certified project management professional, she has walked in the shoes of overwhelm. Using her unique methodology, Marti supports high-performance women in life and in business to break through their limiting beliefs, step out from behind their overwhelm mask, recognize their superpower, and live their life filled with abundance, gratitude, and joy. So I love that. So your whole bio is all about being, that's the work that you've done forever. So why is that? So Marti, why is that work more important right now in what's going on with the virus than ever?
Because right now you have freedom, you have time. So I have all this time and obviously all these things I can do. So where do I start? And really, people in overwhelm are wishing. They've been wishing for months, so they've all sourced this. If I just had time to do nothing and reorganize and shift and figure out what to do first. Because we're in such reaction mode all the time. And now you have a moment to take a deep breath, wipe the whiteboard clean, wipe the slate clean. And now you really have time to get curious as to, if I'd waved a magic wand and wiped the slate clean, what would my life look like? Where would I be focusing? Creating a habit right now. Let's say you always wanted to meditate, but your brain is like, I don't have time. I don't have 10 minutes to sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
Now you do.
Yeah.
So get that. So start building your plan, start organizing your life the way you want it to look like when the wheels start turning again. That's what's so important.
Yeah. So, and you're talking about it from an individual perspective, but like businesses are trying to figure this out as well, right? Like, it's
Exactly. And here's what's going to happen to businesses. All these people are working from home or at home. Guess what they're going to be asking about when they come back to work?
Yeah, they kind of like it.
Yeah, they do. They
Yeah.
do. And they're going to be looking for more balance.
Right.
So, and I'm curious what the number one reason is businesses don't allow people to work from home.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I remember my last year and a half at corporate, and I had gone into our leadership development area. And so I went back into this position where I wasn't in leadership anymore, and I was still doing some of the work. And even a year and a half ago, it felt confining to me, right? Like there's this whole premise that if there's work to be done, like we can do work from anywhere anymore. That's the beauty of technology. And so I want to dig a little bit deeper on this whole what's holding businesses back, because I believe that what's happening right now in our world is what we've sourced. We've called this in. We've called in this big pause, this big, like, let's all just have this collective slow down and go exactly what you were saying is like, what are the things that you've been wanting to do? We live on this rat race and this wheel, and we do what we think we're supposed to. And now we have just this open canvas and this blank slate to create individually or as a business anything that we want. And so thinking about that, like, what is it that, in your opinion, what is it that holds businesses back from letting go of that control and just letting people do the work when they want, where they want?
I think it's old-fashioned way of thinking. I think it starts with human resources. I think if you just look at your annual review in the corporate environment, like we are not engaged with our employees in growth and development as much as we are in productivity. So if we look at developing people, however that is, instead of productivity, you'll naturally get productivity.
Yeah.
Right. We used to say, so the last company I worked at, I have a gratitude jar at home, and I started it at the office, and I put a gratitude jar behind the desk of people that I worked with. Whenever they accomplished something, I would drop a note in their gratitude jar behind their desk. And so when we did their annual review, I had documentation of everything they've done that year. How many times have you sat down with an employee on the 13th month of the year and tried to figure out what do I get to praise them for? Now you have something. And so
not good leadership.
Right. Like really look at the person and not the stuff they created.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say, I think the number one reason we struggle with people working from home is trust. Mm-hmm. And if you don't trust yourself to work in a free environment, you don't trust others. And you impose that on everybody in your organization. You know, oh, I can't trust them to work from home. They won't get it done.
Yeah.
Well, because you're not getting it done, right? We're sourcing that.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you do a lot of work with teams like I do. We both like go into businesses and work with teams of people, and trust, like The Speed of Trust is a book. I would recommend that since we're talking about that right now. It's such an amazing book, because when you have a cohesive unit of people that trust each other, that are working together remotely or in person, right? When that trust is there, the bottom line and the results that you were talking about just naturally, inherently happen. So in your opinion, why does that happen? Like, why is trust such an important component to a successful team, remote or in the office?
There's just, it's just like in any team environment, remote or in the office, like trusting that what you say is what you do, what you promise is what you deliver, right? We allow so many back doors. We allow people off personally, if we all started looking internally, where do we let ourselves off the hook? If we're letting ourselves off the hook, then we instinctually think other people do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. If I say I'm going to get up and exercise every day and I'm not, I'm letting myself off the hook.
Yeah. And that has a downhill stream to your team. And it's not about the exercise with your team. It's about the fact that we've learned that in our leadership stuff that we've been through, right? Like when I have as a leader, when I have a back door, you better guess that my family has a back door, my work has a back door, there's back doors all over the place in every area of my life. And so if I'm a leader out there, Marti, and I'm listening to our conversation, and I'm hearing that trust is the most important component, how do I really start to gauge that, especially now that everybody's remote anyway? Like, what are some things that I can do to really either A, figure out if I have trust on my team? I would imagine that some teams, like, I know we never really explored that, or B, how do I go about starting to really create that trust on my team?
That's an excellent question. First, I would start taking ownership in your own deliverables. I would start, I hate to use the word fessing up, but like sharing with your employees where you're giving yourself your own back doors. Like, be vulnerable with your employees, and they'll be vulnerable with you. They will share. You get to create connection with your teams in a place where they feel safe. So let's say I'm not going, like, how many people can relate to this? Let's say I'm not going to deliver my deliverable on time, right? Am I a leader that allows an employee to come to me authentically, truthfully, like really in a vulnerable space and say, I'm not going to deliver on time. Can you support me? Or are we creating fear in that environment where I'm afraid to? So I'll lie, I'll do a back door, I'll disappear, I'll call out sick, anything to avoid that vulnerable conversation with you. Who am I as a leader that allows people to come to me and do that? That's what builds team.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really just taking a good look at yourself and your own habits and your own behaviors. I know that for me, before I went through this journey kind of that we've both walked together as a leader in corporate, I very often looked outside my own four walls for the reasons why things weren't happening, right? So like, my team's not productive, the team doesn't trust, we're not getting results, whatever it is, people aren't showing up to the team meetings, whatever that is. And so I love where you're going with this, and I love what you're saying. It's like, stop looking outside of yourself, like look inside yourself, take accountability for what you get to take accountability for. And I want to go down the road of communication right now, because I think along with trust, communication is another huge piece of teams, and of teams that really work together well. So how does communication play a part in a team now today that's remote? Like, what is that? What are like some good and bad of communication in a remote world?
Well, God, that's a great question. In a remote world,
I shouldn't say good or bad. I don't mean it like that. But like, what are some habits that leaders can really take and immediately implement right now with their remote teams that will help the remote teams really evolve through this time that we're in?
check-ins, like check-ins, personal and professional check-ins, like check in on your people,
Yeah. Like,
like
how are you?
create that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, create that connection. Like, don't just call and ask the status of something on their plate. Like, how are you right now? Like, what's going on with you? Like, be a leader. So you get to demonstrate leadership. You get to demonstrate vulnerability. You get to demonstrate connection, not just speak it. You get to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, today more than ever, like, we're watching, right? Like, people are watching exactly how people are moving through this. And my own personal opinion is, I don't want to get to the end of it, whatever that is, if that's in 2 weeks or 2 months or who knows when it is, right? But at the end of this, I want to know personally that I did everything that I could do, both personally and focused out, to really help myself, my family, my community, my school, my work, everything through this. And so everybody's watching right now, right? They're watching your move. They're watching how you're reacting. If you're a mom or a dad at home, your kids are watching how you're working through this and what you're doing. And like, what is the big message? I know you talk to people all day long, every day. What is the big message that you have right now? If there's like one thing, what's the one thing you're really coaching people through right now?
Connection. Connection. So we were just talking about this with my kids last night. Like, we were evolving as an environment where we weren't having connection with people. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're like, I have friends, we were good friends for years and years, and we've slowly distanced ourselves, even when we live in the same neighborhood, slowly distanced ourselves to a heart on their Facebook page, right? There's no real, true conversation. And now, so in my head, I imagine the world has stopped turning, right? The gears have stopped going. And now planted. So we were all airborne, moving. Now we're all planted. And who do we have to connect with first? Family.
Yeah.
Like right in our own space. Family, neighbors. Like there's, and we get to do it here, but this is connection as well.
Mm-hmm.
But truly grounding where it is. Kids are home with their families. We get to connect. Yeah. And imagine like you have grown children, mm-hmm. right? They're not all in your physical space.
They're not.
But you're making the extra effort to connect with them.
Yeah. They're like, why do you want to do FaceTime now, Mom?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Because I want to see your face. So yeah, so whether it's like, that's the other thing too, from an individual perspective and from a leadership and a team perspective, like this is how we connect, how you and I are connecting right now. And for me, it's just like, I get just as much connection, like I'm still eyeball to eyeball with you, right? And so like, it's really amazing how like just calling somebody and just talking and reaching out and connecting out is so important right now. So like I think that when I'm being asked that, like, I agree, connection is so incredibly important right now. So I'm a leader on a team and I used to be eyeball to eyeball every single day with my whole team. And overnight with a snap of a fingers, now my whole team is remote. How do I stay connected in a remote environment with my team other than picking up the phone and saying, hey, how are you?
Gosh, that's a great question. Other than picking up the phone, a face-to-face, FaceTime, Zoom, like you really get to see your people. And it's going to take a while because they're going to get suspicious, right?
Right.
Why does she want to see me? Like, why does she want to see my face? Holy crap, I'm in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. And it's okay. Like, right. It's like being the leader that says, I don't care if you're in your pajamas. It's totally cool. I just want to see your face. That's that vulnerability piece that you were talking about. I care about you. I want to see your eyeballs. I want to know you're okay.
Yeah.
That's, so important right now.
Setting boundaries. So I know, like, I've been working remote for 8 years. Mm-hmm. And I was calculating that this morning and I thought, wow, that has been a long time.
Yeah. When
I first started working from home, I had this major anxiety that I needed to be sitting right here in front of the computer all the time. You know, we worked through a VPN at a corporation where, you know, you're instant messaging people all the time. And if you didn't respond, like within 15 seconds, your brain was like, where are they? They're out, you know.
They're out messing around.
Right. They're out messing around. But I would encourage leaders to encourage their employees no more than 45 minutes at a time in front of your computer, right? Yeah. Get up, walk around, keep the mental health, because you will get really anxious about whether if you're a leader that's constantly checking on people, you're just going to create anxiety and mistrust in the people underneath you. And it's showing that you're not trusting them.
Right.
So allow that space, allow them to go for a walk, allow them to encourage that, encourage to take the dog for, encourage to go for a hike in the afternoon, right?
Right.
Like we can be so much more productive in this space, but that does not mean we have to increase productivity in this space.
Right. Well, and here's what I think. If I'm sitting at my cubicle at work or I'm in my office at work, there's all this distraction, right? People stopping by. I am slipping up. Like, I really, really feel like 8 hours at work equals 4 hours at home, kind of thing, because there's so many less distractions. And that allows the time, like you said, that every half hour, every hour, whatever it is, 45 minutes, whatever that is, just getting up and going for a walk, moving around, doing something that's fun, whatever it is. But like, there's just so many opportunities about working from home that I think people will really start to enjoy and see. And I love your question about what happens now when everybody goes back to work. It's really something companies are going to have to, that they get to adjust to.
They're going to be forced to, right? Yeah. So the last company I worked for, calendar management was really important, right? So if I want to have time with you, I book time on your calendar. What happens is, you know, I have an 8-hour day open. I have to book my lunch, right? And then I was like, okay, great. I've booked my lunch on my calendar. What happens next? You get hour, back to back, hour, and you're rolling from one meeting to the next. So you have to establish a company culture where meetings are no longer than 45 minutes, right? The 10 minutes before the top of the hour, whatever it is, to give your people space to breathe. Give them and schedule time on your calendar to get your work done.
Yeah.
Right? So you make purposeful meetings. There's so many things like purposeful meetings. Give a reason for people to be connecting with you and get off of it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So the name of the podcast is Your Leadership Legacy, as you know. And so what kind of legacy, Marti, are you leaving? Like, what legacy do you aspire to leave?
What legacy? Powerful voice.
Mm.
That's what it is. I feel there's a big shift coming that's been coming for a long time. Literally, as we do more connection through Facebook and Instagram, we lose our voice. We're texting, we're typing. Even us now connecting FaceTime, Zoom, we are using our voice and no longer texting. I think that's huge. I have 3 teenagers and I remember the days, oh my God, we were just talking about this the other day, where my first corporate job was sitting at a fax machine, feeding purchase orders into the fax machine and then stapling it with the receipt. Remember that? I mean, they paid me a full-time job to do that, right? Then you pick up the phone and call the purchasing department. Like, how much has things moved? But now my kids can do everything without having a conversation. That's scary.
It's scary when you think about a world of connection, right? When you think about we're humans and we need connection. We may try to avoid it sometimes because life is just crazy, right? But like we need connection. And so, I feel like there's like this, there's going to be this point where we're just going to find that middle ground. And that's like, it's just, everything's different. Everything's different moving forward. It's crazy.
That's the key, is having connect. Like, you can be efficient with technology, but if you lose to me, this is why I think this has all happened. Once we lose connection, we're no longer human beings.
Right. Agree.
Right.
We get to find the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Like we get to find, you've got this and that little sweet spot that's right in the middle of it that really says, no, we can be productive, we can be remote, and we can still have connection. And I believe that we can be better at the end of all of it. Right.
Oh, I agree.
And it's how we just kind of evolve and move through. So tell us, it wouldn't be a podcast if you didn't have your hat on. Tell us what's up with this hat.
So this is, we get to create joy in the world. And I don't know how you create joy with just texting back and forth to each other. And I miss, like, you think about as a kid, like having fun. And I love that a dear friend of ours shared about creating an adult size playground for us to be fun. Can you imagine that? Like, if we took over a kid's playground, and as adults we just did that. We don't do that anymore. Like we have to schedule a dance party.
It's a true story.
Yeah, we have to schedule a dance party. We don't just go play and have fun. And when we were kids, we didn't have money to do it, and we did it anyway. And now we're just so stuck. Just so stuck.
We used to play with cardboard boxes and think that was amazing, right?
Yeah. Play-Doh. Like,
yes. I love your magic wand. If whenever your name comes up, you're the magic wand lady. So like if you had a magic wand, and it's so true, I love that question. So in any moment, I think anybody that's watching can really take that. Like if you had a magic wand, that's your unicorn wand right there. If you had a magic wand, what would you create? And this is the perfect time to create it because we have an open slate. Marti, where can people find you?
Oh, I'm everywhere. I wish I was. So I'm meoconsulting.com. You can also find me on Facebook as Marti Kelly Ouellette. And Fierce Females. That's my Facebook group. So
Awesome.
I want to go back, the magic wand, what I ask my clients and what I ask even my powerful executives, and it kind of throws them off guard, is I say, I want you to stand in the back of the room at the wedding of your youngest child. And I want you to tell me what they say when they toast you. That's the person you get to be today.
You made me cry. Right? Say that again. I want you to go through that again.
So I want you to stand at the back of the room at the wedding of your youngest child. And imagine the room filled with all the people you care about, all the people your child cares about, right? And then, like, I think of traditional old-fashioned weddings, right? You have the table at the front, and the bride and groom are up there, and the maid of honor has made her speech, and the best man has made his speech, and now your child is toasting her parents or his parents. What are they saying about you?
That's your legacy, right?
That's your legacy.
That's your legacy. I love it. Thank you.
That's the space you get to come from. And everything you do, that's the space you get to come from.
And it's not just today. It's a space that we get to come from every single day. Like that's
right.
the commitment, and that's the hard work.
Right.
So,
that's your vision.
Yeah.
That's where you anchor your vision. You picture that child looking at you and saying, that's who you are.
Right. Awesome. Beautiful. Marti, thank you so much for being on
thank
today.
You.
I love you. You're such an amazing
I love you
human,
too.
and we didn't even get to half of the stuff that you do. We'll do that on another podcast, but thank you for everything that you do in the world to lift people up every single day. You're an amazing human.
Oh, thank you. You too, Tina. I love you.
All right. Bye. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our programs and events at trueyouteams.com. And until next time, make it an amazing day.